What is up, guys? It is me, Dalton TRM, and today we are doing Raw R&R numero 3. So this is going over the January 20th, 2025 edition, but before we start that, I want to explain what happened with SmackDown R&R, I think number 2. So basically what happened was I made the video, and when I was getting ready to start editing, I realized that something internally with my setup here, something with the audio was messed up, and I was so trigger happy to delete the video because it had no audio that this late in, I feel like it'd be kind of silly to edit it, or not edit it, but make it. So just a quick rundown of what happened there. Nothing really of substance other than, like, people continuing the feuds they had. The only thing of substance I can think of that came out of that SmackDown was Braun Strowman's going to be facing Jacob Fatu at Saturday night's main event, so that's going to be good. Big meaty men slapping meat. But
I beg your
other than
pardon?
that, it was just a normal SmackDown. Nothing crazy. But yeah, with that out the way, let's get to the January 20th, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw. So the show starts with the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley walking into the arena before getting ambushed by Nia Jax, and Nia Jax repeatedly slammed her head into the wall before Adam Pearce broke it up with the aid of officials. So Rhea Ripley didn't even get to make her way to the ring or anything before Nia Jax just decided to jump her and just bash her head against the wall trying to give her CTE. So yeah, that's a fun way to start the show. The first thing that happens in ring, Jey Uso comes out to the ring, and he says that this weekend at Saturday night's main event, he's taking home the big one, taking home the World Heavyweight title, but gets interrupted by Gunther, the champ. And Gunther makes his way to the ring. Gunther starts by guessing the next thing Uso will say is that he will win the World Heavyweight title. Uso says that he was going to say he was going to beat Gunther, take the title, and hang it up in his room, which very CM Punk thing to do. Because when CM Punk won the title back in 2011, he put it in his damn fridge. But I guess Jey Uso is just doing a less extreme version of that. Gunther says that Uso's a really funny little man, and he was looking forward to facing Uso at Saturday night's main event until today, when he saw Uso walking in acting like a complete dork. Dang. Uso says he's acting like a company mascot for the crowd. And Gunther says at this point it doesn't matter to Gunther. Gunther could just tell, as well, being challenged by Jimmy Uso. Uso warns him not to say anything about his brother. Fair enough. And Gunther says it doesn't matter what Uso says because he never follows up with his words. The people are naive enough to believe every word he says, but Gunther isn't. Uso shows up whenever someone whistles, like his brother, cousin, and even Cody Rhodes. All it means is Uso is a useful idiot. Uso's words and actions do not align. Gunther's do. Gunther holds up the title and says, on Saturday when the bell rings, I'm going to expose you for the flash in the pan who has no business being this close to the World Heavyweight title. Dang. When you get called flash in the pan, it's pretty rough. I wouldn't want to be called that. Uso says that Gunther's right again. Everything that came out of Gunther's mouth is true. Uso is a mascot, and the crowd is his team. They're a squad because they ride with him, slide with him, and on Saturday they'll be with him when he beats Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. Uso told Gunther that he respected him, but Gunther will respect him as well. Only one of them will be standing in the ring, and that main event. Hold on, messed that up. Only one of them is standing in the ring that main evented WrestleMania, and it's not Gunther. Dang. Jey got a clap back because Jey did main event WrestleMania, and Gunther hasn't yet. Gunther punches Uso down and starts stomping on him. He picks up Uso, but Uso quickly takes Gunther down with a double leg sweep and punches away at him. Gunther tries to grab Jey, but Uso punches him away and knocks him out of the ring with a super kick. Uso picks up the world title and holds it up, and he lays the title back down near the ropes and challenges Gunther to get in the ring. Gunther gets on the apron, but quickly gets down and snags the belt, ending the segment. So Jey Uso basically laid out Gunther and made him retreat. But I hate to break it to you, Uso fans, Gunther's just not going to lose because I believe in the championship curse. So since Jay grabbed it and literally held it up above the champ, nah, he's not winning. He's going to lose. But anyway, next segment, the New Day is walking backstage. They come up to the Hall of Famer JBL, and they say that they finally found somebody who understands what they're going through. JBL is happy to see them. Kofi says that JBL will be the commentator for the match against the fake locker room leader, Rey Mysterio. Xavier Woods wants JBL to put over how they've been wronged, and they put some money in his, suit pocket, which turned out to be only $2. That's crazy. They mentioned that JBL dropped a tag team partner and became bigger. JBL says he doesn't blame him for dropping a charismatic, large, muscle tag team partner. Surely people will care more about them now. They weren't happy with the backhanded compliments and walk off. Kathy Kelly is backstage with Bayley, and she says that Bayley's here for a match against Nia Jax tonight. Also, Bayley has an announcement that she is officially back on Raw, and she says that she feels good to be here, and this is where she started her career when she came up from NXT, lore accurate. Bayley also wants to declare herself for the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble. Not surprising. Everybody's declaring for the Royal Rumble this year. Hell, I'll declare for the Royal Rumble. Not really. I'd get killed. She was the 2024 winner, so back-to-back sounds good. She could go after Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley. Nia Jax walks into frame. But there was some audio issues. Clearly, I wasn't the only one. So there was some audio issues at the beginning, but once it started working again, Nia Jax said that she'll take out Tiffany Stratton and win the Royal Rumble. Okay. Or Nia Jax is not winning the Women's Royal Rumble. Bayley dares her to try and say something on her like she did to Rhea Ripley, but Nia ends the segment by saying she'll see Bayley in the ring. So, yeah, that was fun. Basically building up the match that's going to happen later tonight. Back in the ring, the New Day's theme starts with Big E, because that song was made a long time ago. Big E saying, it's a new day, don't be sour, blah, 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 feel the power. And as Xavier and Kofi were walking down the ring, they say they're not happy and they're not using that theme song anymore. Xavier Woods and Kofi greet the crowd, and Kofi says that the crowd is starting to piss them off. The crowd booing, chanting New Day sucks. Love the hate. The New Day continues by saying that this has been going on far too long for them to be disrespected like this. They're walking Hall of Famers, unlike this fraud, JBL. And Kofi takes the money back out of JBL's pocket. And Woods says that Rey Mysterio will get the brakes beat off him by the one and only Kofi Kingston because New Day rocks. And then the crowd, New Day sucks because they do. Anyway, Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston, the actual match. Some notable spots. A botched powerbomb from Kofi Kingston to the floor. Xavier Woods sweeping the legs of Rey Mysterio after Rey attempted the 619, resulting in Xavier getting rejected by the referee. Or not rejected, but ejected. And it ended after an attempted SOS, resulting in a roll-up from Rey Mysterio for the win. Rey Mysterio defeats Kofi Kingston. Xavier Woods runs down and attacks Mysterio from behind, and Woods gets Mysterio in the ring, and the New Day are double-teaming him, ganging up on him. But Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro of the LWO run down to save their leader, Rey Mysterio, but the New Day quickly get out of the ring. In response to that, Kofi pulls out Joaquin Wilde and throws him into the ring post before getting chased off by Del Toro, ending that segment. Because they just had to get another lick in, I guess. Backstage, Kathy Kelly says that she was supposed to interview Chad Gable about his loss to Penta, but Gable in the background is hyping up American Made. Really, he's just yelling at them and shoving them. Let's see where we at. Gable says he was firing up the troops. Gable says he knows he was the talk of the wrestling world when he lost to Penta, and now he knows he has a problem with losing to luchadors, examples being Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio. Gable has sought the advice of someone who knows Lucha Libre, no one other than Dominic Mysterio. Dominic will help him with his problem. Ivy Niles says that there's a women's Intercontinental title with her name on it, and the Creed brothers say they're coming for the World Tag titles. Julius Creed continues by saying they're taking the titles from a team that's at the end of their career and bringing them to a team that is hitting their prime. So, looks like All of American Made is on title hunts right now, so that's going to be fun. Anyway, after the commercial break, Sami Zayn is in the ring. Sami starts by saying he is not going to beat around the bush. He spoke to Adam Pearce, and he has entered the 2025 Royal Rumble match. No surprise there. He continues by saying last week Seth Rollins told him that he spends all his time helping other people and that maybe it's time for Zayn to help himself. That got him thinking about what he wants. Zayn starts to think about 14-year-old him and the millions of people worldwide who dream of ever becoming pro wrestlers, as well as the thousands who actually get to be wrestlers. Then there's that small group that get to call themselves WWE superstars, and then there's the smallest group of them all, the top tier of WWE. That's where Zayn is now. Cap. Zayn believes that in his heart that he is as good as any in that group. That group of guys is in the Royal Rumble. The only difference between him and them, guys like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre, is that they have a world title to their name, and he doesn't. Zayn has had a great life and career. He doesn't need the world championship to complete him. The fans have supported him through the years. Their support has meant more to him than any world title ever could. Zayn doesn't need the world title, but damn it, he wants it. The 14-year-old in him wants it. He's still the 14-year-old. Zayn says he wants it, and it is with him every time he's in the ring. He wants it, and he's going to take it. But Kevin Owens' music hits in response to that. Owens heads to the ring, and Zayn says that he knew it was only a matter of time before Owens came here. Sami asks Owen how he wants to do this. Owens asks him what's he mean. And then Zayn says the world saw what he did to Cody Rhodes when he teamed with Roman Reigns. How is that going to go down? Owens says that he'll admit that he was a bit upset when he saw Zayn teaming with Roman at Survivor Series. Then Owens says he thought about it, and it's not like when Rhodes teamed up with Reigns. Zayn has a lot of history with Reigns, just like they do. Reigns did some terrible things to Zayn that he chose to overlook. Owens has done some terrible things to Zayn that he has overlooked. Zayn forgave him just like how he forgave Reigns. That's who Zayn is. Zayn is a good person. Owens is here as his friend to say he believes wholeheartedly that Sami will win the Royal Rumble. Owens says that Sami deserves to win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania and fight for the WWE Championship. He says Zayn will do it, then they can accomplish one more thing together that they've done so much in the business they dreamed of 25 years ago. Main event WrestleMania together. They main evented WrestleMania together and won the tag titles. Now they need to main event WrestleMania for the WWE title. Owens says that when Zayn wins the Royal Rumble, they'll do that. It'll happen as long as he walks out of the Royal Rumble as WWE Champion. Owens knows both of those things will happen. Owens knows Zayn will win the Rumble because he's got Zayn's back. Owens knows he'll walk out the Royal Rumble because as WWE Champion, just like Zayn had Reigns' back, Zayn will have his back. As his best friend and brother, if he needs Zayn, Owens knows he'll be there. Owens walks off, leaving Sami Zayn looking conflicted. So, basically, Owens is saying he knows he's going to win his match at Royal Rumble because Sami will have his back, because Sami always has his back, which is interesting. I don't know what that could imply. Maybe a Sami Zayn heel turn, maybe? But I don't know. We'll see. Kathy Kelly is backstage with Sheamus. She talks about how Sheamus will challenge Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title at Saturday night's main event. Sheamus says he's been living his career backwards. 6 months ago, after debuting, he defeated one of the greatest of all time, John Cena, for the world title. Usually people win the IC title first. Sheamus is going to fulfill his destiny by winning the last title he hasn't won on Saturday. Then, speaking of the Intercontinental title, the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, walks into frame and holds the title up, and Breaker says this is as close as Sheamus will ever get to the title. And on Saturday, Braun will break him like an old man. Breaker tells Sheamus that he should retire, and Sheamus, in response, shoves Braun Breaker away, and Breaker laughs as he walks away, ending the segment. Nia Jax versus Bayley. Some notable spots: a pop-up headbutt from Nia that only got a 1 count. A suicide dive from under the middle rope to Nia from Bayley. So instead of doing it over the middle rope, she did it under the middle rope. So it was technically just above the bottom rope, which is pretty impressive. Bayley getting in Roxanne Perez's face again, who was in the crowd. This is like the second time she's done that in like the last 2 weeks. And Bayley punching Roxanne down after Roxanne attempted to slap Bayley. So Roxanne tried to swing at Bayley. Bayley caught the arm and then knocked her down, which resulted in security taking Roxanne away from the crowd because, you know, as a fan, you shouldn't attack the wrestler, but she's a fan, you know. A sunset flip bomb into the ring post from Bayley to Nia. Ouch, because Nia's head like cracked off of that ring post, so, you know, looked pretty painful. And it ended after Nia hit the Annihilator for the win. Nia Jax defeats Bayley. Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley's music hits, and then she charges down to the ring and brawls with Jax. Officials run down and they pull Ripley away, and they hold Jax back. And then Jax breaks free and, you know, hits her in the corner, and then Rhea breaks free and hits her in the corner. And then, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, Rhea Ripley kicks Nia Jax in the head, and Jax leaves the ring. Ripley goes to follow her, but Jax sweeps the feet, and Jax slams Ripley's face off the announce desk several times. And Jax puts Ripley on the table, but she's pulled away. And then Ripley, who's on the announce table, hits a cannonball off the table onto Jax and the officials. And then before the segment ends, Ripley grabs the microphone and says, "You, me, Saturday night's main event." So that sets up Nia Jax versus Ripley world title, which is kind of what I thought. I thought since Nia Jax is going to be on Raw, she's going to definitely go for the title there. So, yeah, that's expected. Next segment, Chad Gable is asking Dominic backstage for some help. And Dominic hands him a piece of paper, and Gable walks off saying that he's going to learn some Lucha Libre dark arts. So I'm guessing Dominic gave him the paper to somebody who can actually teach him. So that's interesting. I wonder who Dominic wrote on that paper to give Chad Gable the advice from. So yeah, Mysterio says it's not a bad thing for Gable to owe them one, and JD mentions the World Tag Titles and that since Balor's laid up from the street fight, Balor can't fight. Dominic says that he can take Balor's place, and he doesn't think Balor would mind, and McDonough agrees with that. So Morgan says that Dominic is acting like a leader and hopes it turns out better than it did in her match against Rhea Ripley. And Mysterio says he thought she wasn't mad, but in response, he will make it up to her. And she says he will, and drags him and herself away, ending the segment. Interesting. Sami Zayn walks up to Seth Rollins backstage, and Zayn thanks Rollins for last week's talk, and he says it got through to him. Rollins says it's about time for that Sami Zayn to show up. Rollins is almost rooting for him, but if push comes to shove, he'll throw Sami over the top rope at the Royal Rumble. And Zayn says, "Not if I throw you first," ending that whole segment. Pete Dunne versus Penta. Some notable spots: the finger snap and stomp to the elbow from Pete Dunne. I always hate when he just, snaps the finger like that. It looks gross to me. A kick from Penta to Pete Dunne, who was attempting to do that thing he does where he runs up on the top rope and does a backflip and gets behind him. Penta, he tried doing the Adam Cole thing, kicking him out of the air, but he did, but it kind of looked kind of off a little bit, but he still did it. So an X-Plex from Pete Dunne on the apron to Penta, basically that move he does where he does a suplex, but instead of falling it back, he just, does a release suplex, basically. The Mexican Destroyer again from Penta. I'm hoping that becomes a reoccurring spot in his matches, the Destroyer, because I love seeing it every time it happens. I don't care who hits it; it just looks beautiful every time. Whether it's Rey Mysterio, Penta, Bad Bunny. Remember when he did it? It's a great move. The Deadeye from Pete Dunne that only gets a 2 count. That's interesting because that's Mr. Adam Page's finisher, and he's not in WWE. So I don't know if that's just throwing shade or if it was just a one-time thing. That was interesting. A powerbomb backbreaker from Penta. So basically, he was going for a powerbomb, but instead of dropping him down, he pulled out his knee, so he fell onto his knee. That probably crunched his back. The sacrifice, again, that move where he, snapped the arm back. I hope that becomes a recurring thing as well. And then it ended after Penta hit the Penta driver for the win. Penta defeats Pete Dunne. That was probably the second best match on the card, in my opinion. The first one's coming up. Spoiler alert. Some things announced for next week. Logan Paul will make his Raw debut next week. Oh boy. The War Raiders versus Dominic and JD for the tag titles. That was already said. And then Cody Rhodes will also be on the show. That's going to be fun. Jackie Redmond says that there's only so many ways to get in the Royal Rumble match. Jackie Redmond says that there are only so many ways to get in the main event of WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble is one of those ways, and that's a match that he's never won. Oh, yeah. Okay, my bad. This is CM Punk's segment. She is interviewing CM Punk. And she said that there's only so many ways to get into the main event of WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble is one of those ways, and that's a match that Punk has never won. And Punk says that the Rumble is stacking up this year with people like Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Sami Zayn. What makes this Rumble different for CM Punk? Punk says that history, and I am a maker of history. 3 weeks ago, he main evented the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix, beating one of the Royal Rumble favorites, Seth Rollins. Punk will head into the Rumble and throw 29 other superstars over the top rope. The pressure is on, and that's when he comes alive and thrives. Nobody can beat him when he is at his best with the people behind him. Punk can't see John Cena throwing him over the top rope on February 1st. Roman Reigns needed Punk's help to settle family business. There are no friends in the Royal Rumble. Punk put Drew McIntyre in the dirt, and Sami Zayn isn't even on his level. Damn. And Punk says that you could even throw Hulk Hogan in the Royal Rumble, and he'll throw his dusty ass over the top rope and kill Hulkamania once and for all. And when I heard Punk say that, I got up, and it hyped me up, because I love that he is giving Hulk Hogan a hate. That was great. I loved it. And then Punk is settling scores, and he's cashing in debts. He'll call in a favor or two if he needs to. And in the end, 29 men are going night-night, and only one man is getting his hand raised, and that will be CM Punk. Not really. But that was definitely a good promo. It definitely got me hyped up for the Rumble more than I already am. So, yeah. Pure Fusion Collective in Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Io Sky. Some notable spots was, well, there isn't really notable spots. It was a back-and-forth match that ended after Io hit a moonsault for the win. Nothing really crazy happened. I think Zoe Stark did, this one drop kick. She bounced off the top rope, like a springboard drop kick. That was probably the only thing I think that was notable. Damage Control defeats Pure Fusion Collective. The main event and best match on the card, in my opinion, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre at the WrestleMania rematch. Some notable spots was an overhead belly-to-belly suplex over the announce table from Drew to Rollins. Back-and-forth chops from both of them. That was before the belly-to-belly, but an inverted Alabama slam counter into a roll-up from Rollins, but it only got a 2 count. Rollins sending McIntyre shoulder first into 3 different ring posts. So he did it into one, and then he did it into another, and then he did it into a third. And then the next one, Rollins attempting to hit a Falcon's Arrow after doing his top rope suplex and tried to roll it through into the Falcon's Arrow, but Drew McIntyre hit the Falcon's Arrow instead and got only a 2 count. Rollins attempting a curb stomp that got countered into an attempted future shock, that got countered into an attempted pedigree, that got countered into a lariat from McIntyre. So they basically just tried to do this move, counter, this move, counter, this move, counter, and then, he finally hit a lariat to knock Seth down. A future shock from Drew later in the match, but it only got a 2 count. And it ended after Drew McIntyre hit 2 arm-held clotheslines. So, he clotheslined him, but he still had one of the arms, picked him up, hit a second one, and they tried to hit a third one that got countered into a jackknife roll-up and win by Seth Rollins. And then in response to Drew McIntyre losing, he attacks Seth Rollins and starts punching away at him, and the referee, tried stopping McIntyre, but McIntyre scared him away, basically. And Rollins tried to fight back, but McIntyre hit him with a claymore. And McIntyre dragged him by the hair and pressed his skull against the ring post, so he was really trying to kill him. But Sami Zayn runs down to the ringside and attacks McIntyre. Zayn drives McIntyre into the post, and he's checking on Rollins. And Zayn goes back to McIntyre, but McIntyre catches him with a Glasgow kiss before flinging him into the barricade. McIntyre turns his attention to Rollins, who is slowly getting up in the ring. Zayn, who also comes back in, tried to hit McIntyre with the haluva kick, but Drew moved, resulting in Sami Zayn hitting Seth Rollins with a haluva kick. McIntyre fleeing away after that. And the show ends with Seth Rollins looking up at Sami Zayn, unhappy, furious, actually. So that's how that show ends. So this Raw definitely had a lot more going for it than the SmackDown did last week that I didn't get to cover. But just to give a quick rundown of everything again, Nia Jax beating up Rhea Ripley to start the show. I expected that. I expected Nia to basically go straight into the world title scene once that happened. Jey Uso basically winning the fight that the fight promo, whatever you want to call it, between him and Gunther. I'm surprised, but of course, due to him holding up the title, I believe in championship curse. So Gunther's definitely going to win, but good segment between that as well. The New Day and JBL stuff. I thought it was good because they were in JBL's hometown, and he did get announced the week before, so it's a good thing that he did something with the New Day because all 3 of them are heels that you just love to hate. Bayley announcing that she's going to be in the Rumble. It's whatever. The Rey Mysterio and Kofi Kingston match, I thought it was good. I mean, Rey beating Kofi surprised me because I thought Kofi was going to win. But, love that the New Day is getting involved in anything because as much as I joke hating on them, they actually are one of the most entertaining people on the show just because how much I hate them. Or, you're supposed to hate them. The Chad Gable stuff, interesting. I want to see who Dominic basically referred Gable to get Lucha Libre dark arts, as Gable called it. Zayn saying that he wants to win the world title and be in the Royal Rumble. That's interesting because I don't think Zayn's going to win, but him saying that he wants to be world champion again, definitely interesting. Kevin Owens coming out there and saying his stuff, saying that Sammy's going to win the Rumble, and not only is he going to win, he's going to help Owens win his match at Royal Rumble. That's interesting. I hope Zayn doesn't turn heel and helps Kevin Owens beat Cody because I'm a Cody Glazer, so that would be terrible if Owens won the title. Sheamus getting ready to fight Braun Breaker at Saturday Night's Main Event. That's going to be good. I think Sheamus is going to win the Intercontinental title because, this is his 3rd or 4th match encounter for the Intercontinental title at this point. If he doesn't win this, then I don't know what Sheamus is going to do from here because this has basically been his goal since 2022 because he or 2023, because he fought in that triple threat with Gunther and Drew for the IC title at Mania 39. So if he doesn't win at this point, I don't know what Sheamus can do from here other than, have bangers. Nia versus Bayley. It's a good thing Nia won, especially since she's going to fight Ripley. But it kind of sucks that Bayley's first match back on Raw was an L. The Ripley and Nia Jax setting up their match, not surprised, but it should be a good match, I think. Pete Dunne versus Penta, the second best match on the card, if it wasn't for the main event being so good. Logan Paul being on Raw, damn. That sucks. But like every time he gets in the ring, it's good. But anytime he cuts a promo, bro, I cannot take Logan Paul seriously. The War Raiders versus Dom and JD, that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens next week there. Cody Rhodes being there, that's interesting. I wonder what he's going to be there for, because I don't know what business he has on Raw. CM Punk and his segment, probably the best segment on the show. I definitely thought it was great, and I'm hyped for Punk being in the Rumble, but again, he ain't going to win, because it's going to be, somebody else that's going to win. Pure Fusion Collective versus Damage Control, regular match. I don't really care about Pure Fusion Collective. I'm sorry. The only one I really care about at all in Pure Fusion Collective is Shayna Baszler. And if she's just going to be a tag team person, then all right, Damage Control, definitely a good thing for them to win, for Io and Dakota to get a win, because Dakota lost the match last week for the Intercontinental title, and Io, the winner of the Women's Rumble, by the way, getting a win, getting the pin too. That's good. And then Seth versus Drew, definitely good, because basically Drew didn't win the match, but he definitely did cause some cracks between Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn, because Seth's been tweening on like neutral potential heel as of late with the Punk drama, and definitely him getting kicked by the ever-loving good guy Sami Zayn, that's definitely going to cause some things. Other than that, that's about it. So this Raw, like I said, better than SmackDown, and probably better than last week's Raw too, I think. But yeah, that is it, guys. So like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, guys, peace.